I'm
Yeah.
pretty excited about it.
Hello, everyone. This is Grant from Spark Sites and
Nicole with HotMod.
we are
HotSpark.
HotSpark.
Gets you every time.
It gets you every time. So today we're excited to bring you Malika. Now, we were just like, how did we find Malika? Because you guys know that we normally deal with travel influencers and creators, and RV influencers and creators.
A lot of in the RV space. But we have had Carissa, who's just travel.
She's just travel.
Yeah.
And we've had Dory, who's just dance.
Yeah.
Dory was last week. She's just dance. Now, real quick, Malika's awesome because she is so much more than a blogger, so much more than a travel influencer. She's like a full-blooded author. She's got a killer blog. Check out Roamilicious.com. We'll have that. Actually, I've got her handle right here. This is her Instagram handle, Roamilicious, and her website is just roamilicious.com. She's the editor of the Travel and Food blog. She's also the author of Food Lover's Guide to Atlanta, which is phenomenal. And she's been featured on HGTV, which is like Celebrity in the House, which is super pumped about. Anyone who's been on TV, I have a lot of respect for. I don't know why. It's just default. It's just default. And then she's a contributing writer for MSN, USA Today, Lonely Planet, and a ton more. So we're going to pepper her. We were already peppering her with all kinds of questions. So let's bring her up. Miss Malika Bowling. Boom.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Great. Fantastic.
Did I get some of your highlights okay? Was that good?
Yes. Love it. Thank you. Thank you for talking me up.
Yeah. Woo! We like talking y'all up. So we were diving into all kinds of stuff, but first questions first, because I asked the question and Nicole's like, wait, we got to go live. How long have you been an author and blogging and writing?
So yeah, I've been doing that for a very long time. So I started my blog in late 2009, actually. And it started as actually just like a food blog. And it was just my husband and I's, our date night. We were dating then. We'd go to a restaurant and I would pick a new restaurant to try, take pictures. And this was before everybody was taking pictures with their phone. I had my little point and shoot camera and I was taking pictures that way. And I just love writing and I love trying new restaurants. And so I thought, okay, I want to try to start a blog because I knew at that time it was kind of becoming bigger, this digital marketing, blogging, all of that stuff. And it's just something, the intersection of writing and food and travel is just something I love. And so I wanted to start a blog and so it was just such a fun creative outlet that I started many, many years ago to answer your question.
Gotcha. Now, okay, dispel this for me. Most authors strike me by default as introverts, but you do not strike me as an introvert. So do you consider yourself like that? Is that your medium or are you fine? Was that just what you started with and you have such a variety of mediums? Is writing the medium for you?
No, I wouldn't say it's the only medium. I love videos. I love making videos. And it's funny that you say I don't strike you as an introvert because I think if you talk to almost anyone that knows me, they would say she's introverted.
Oh, okay.
So I actually love to hear you say that I don't strike you as somebody that's introverted. That's so great to hear.
Okay, it's a win.
Enjoy the moment. Yeah.
Yes, I struggle with that as far as I really have in the last, I guess, decade or so, really made an effort to be less introverted. But it's different when you're talking about something that you love and something that you're just really passionate about, which I am. And so I do like writing, but I like making videos too. I think as a content creator, influencer, whatever you want to call me, I think besides published author, I think that it just evolves. If you want to excel in this industry, you can't stay stagnant. You can't say, well, I'm just going to have this blog. If you want to evolve and change. And it's something I enjoy. Making the short videos on Instagram is a lot of fun for me.
Well, and it's funny, to your point.
Yeah.
You're talking about short videos on Instagram. Does anyone remember when Instagram was only photos?
I know.
I know. It didn't seem too long ago, I think 2 or 3 years ago, right?
Yeah, and the change you're talking about, to be in any medium, to be a voice of any kind, you do have to be nimble and just be how am I finding my expression, my voice.
Mhm.
You know, so that leads me to a question. Do you feel like you have found your voice?
No, I think it's always evolving.
Ooh.
I'll say that what was so funny is when I started my blog so many years ago, there weren't any examples to follow of influencers. I mean, that word wasn't even a thing when I started my blog. So all I had to follow really was other writers, and I used that as a guide. And I kind of wish I had found my way sooner, because I think
Mm,
that there's such a difference between when you're a writer and when you're sort of an influencer and content creator, because people resonate with you and your voice and they want to know about you.
hmm.
And so, like when I started my food blog, I was only posting pictures of food.
Right.
I was like, well, that's what people want to see. And I found that as I've gotten more into Instagram and doing like YouTube shorts, people want to see me and they want to get to know me and
That's right.
what makes me tick.
Yeah, I think that was definitely an evolution for me. Even having an influencer marketing agency, I had account managers or assistants, and I thought, let's just put them on video. It doesn't really need to be, I don't need to be on video, you know?
Hmm,
And then you
hmm.
find real quickly that you are the brand and people want to know what you're doing and how you're running your business. And it's like, you just have to come to terms with that and go all in. And,
Mhm.
you know,
You know, as an author, I've written a little bit, and I have a huge respect for authors because they strike me as some of the more observant people in society. And, you know, we talked to a lot of creators of all kinds, and some are observant, some are just living their life. So I want to ask you, because you're an author and you strike me as a very observant person, why do you think it is the trend on social media that they do want to see and get to know you? That they do actually like what part of the human experience do you think is happening there that the public likes some of the voyeurism? What do you think that is?
I think it's a human connection. I mean, I think that we're
Mm,
so in this world now, it's like people are so glued to their phones. Like even when you go out, you're at the grocery store, you're at the gym, people don't interact really.
mm,
And I think that this is a way for people to interact. I think maybe it's something with the younger generation too, that
mhm.
they're not as comfortable talking face to face, but they'll follow somebody on Instagram or TikTok and say, "Oh, this is a cool person." They I have pizza every Friday night, and I'm thinking, well, maybe I need to share that with my
yeah.
audience. Maybe they'd like to know what kind of pizza is Malika having. Like to me, I'm like, is that interesting? No, but maybe they want to know that. Maybe I should be doing a
And
story
it
every
turns out to
Friday
be the
night.
most
This is my
popular
pizza.
content you have. Yeah.
So
That's funny, man. So, it turns out you are now a brand ambassador for luxury travel hackers.
right.
What is that experience? Is this your first ambassadorship?
Yes, it is. It is
How's
my
this
first.
experience going for you?
Well, it's still very new.
Mm,
They handpicked several, not several, I think maybe like 20 or 30 ambassadors that they wanted. And it's a really cool platform because what people can do, what the brand ambassador can do is they can share their content, whether that's photos or videos on their own page. And they handle like the build out of the trip. So if somebody's following me and they
mm,
see that, like last year, I went to Lithuania and they're like, oh, well, I never would have thought about going to Lithuania, but it looks like Malika had a lot of fun. I'm going to book that trip. They can book it right on the site. And
mm.
so I think they're like more their official launch is later on this week or next week.
Okay.
And they're going to be doing more promotions on their Instagram. They have a huge Instagram following and
Mm.
Facebook and Google ads. And so I'm just excited to share that because that would be honestly a dream job would be to like lead these trips all over the world. I
Oh,
think that would be so cool with people that are really interested and passionate about stuff like that, like travel, like I am.
Is
uh,
it pre-built? Yeah, like itinerary led, like the whole trip is already planned out.
Yeah. So what on the back end, what I do is I name the hotels that I stayed at. I can put like as a food lover, I can put the restaurants that I visited, the sites that I visited. And so what they do is they build out the trip and people can say, oh, I want to book this trip. And so they're going to stay at those same hotels. They're going to go to those same places that I went to. And so they just click a button and then it's booked. And what's cool about it too is they can do it for, like, let's say they don't have 10 days. Maybe they only have 5 days. They can do it maybe for 5 days if they want. Some of the itineraries are shorter, some are longer. So it's very customizable too, which is
Yeah,
really
I'll have
neat.
to check that out.
Yeah, so it's called Luxury Travel Hackers. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
So talking a little bit about your platform. You're
Mhm.
at about, what is it, 48,500? Is that accurate?
That's,
Um,
yeah, very accurate.
was it intentional to build a following?
Yeah, it was. It's funny. I remember years ago when I started, people would say, or the experts would say, "Oh, well, you don't need to be on every platform. Pick one or maybe two and do them really well." Now it's like, no, that's not okay. You need
Cross
to be
post
on
everything.
like Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, and
Mhm.
so. Yeah, I've really put a lot of effort into my Instagram
Hmm.
and and just interacting with other people and brands. And I feel like Instagram is sort of the way that more collaborations are happening, um, and for content creation and all that sort of thing. And so a lot of times brands will reach out to me, restaurants reach out to me through Instagram directly. They don't
Mhm.
even bother looking up my email. So
Right.
I think having that presence is important. I've been very intentional about regularly posting and posting good quality content. So yes, I did try to build the audience. TikTok, oh, that's just, I think that I need to work on that, but I
Yeah.
don't know that I have
That's
the time.
that's the running theme. TikTok's always like, I'm getting there with TikTok, and it's such a powerful platform. We all know we need to be there, but it's
All of
just
the creators,
yeah.
they're like, it's like we just got off a call last night with We Plus Three. We were on a call with them
Mhm.
for a brand
Mhm.
collab deal that we're facilitating. And they were like, oh man, we use it as a search engine. Like we don't even Google things anymore.
Mhm.
But I feel like they were expressing we still need to post over there because we're
Right.
not. I mean, I'm telling you, it's my biggest platform personally. I have about 20,000 followers, 19,000 followers there. And I did it on a 6-second video, no verbiage. It was just an audio duet, and
Mhm.
it just took off. And their collab affiliate platform is second to none. You know, if you have a product, you put it on the marketplace, and
They have a lot of creator tools, a
there's
lot of ways
so
to
it's
make money
built
on
for
there.
creators. You
Yeah,
know,
it
so
it
yeah.
really does. I'm really curious about the book that you wrote, The
Hmm.
Food Lover's Guide to Atlanta. Did you just eat your way through Atlanta and like, or did you like try, I'm gonna try Indian food, I'm gonna try Mexican food? Like, how did you even attack this?
Yeah, so that was really interesting because I told you I started my food blog late 2009, and in I guess it was in 2011, early 2011, a publisher reached out to me and they said, "Hey Malika, we love your blog. We want you to write this book." And I was like, first of all, I was
Oh,
like, "This is a joke." Like
right.
like I'm a blogger, like and I hadn't at that point I hadn't even tried to do any kind of freelance writing, anything like that. And so I was just like, wait, this is a joke, right? And they're like, no, we're serious. We want you to write this book. And so it helped, of course, that I'd been writing this blog for so long and I had tried all these restaurants already. So a majority of them that I had been to. But they did give me 6 months to write the book. So
Oh,
I was eating a lot during that eating and writing a lot during that 6 month period, for sure.
yeah, man.
Do you have like a matrix that you use or like a rubric? Like you're looking for savory experience? Like what's your like meter?
How do
Like
you approach it?
personally, what I like, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh gosh, I like so many different things. I love seafood. I love spicy food, Thai
Mm.
food, Chinese food, Indian food. Anything with a spicy kick is great.
Mm.
So I'm not overly picky.
Oh,
So
I like things that
you're not grading the restaurants, you're just sharing,
capturing.
capturing like what kind of food they offer, like their or main dishes, and is that
Yeah, what's funny is it's funny that you bring that up because I sort of started as like trying to be a reviewer.
Mhm.
And I don't know that that's what I want to do. I don't take pleasure in talking negatively about a restaurant, but So it's just sort of evolved into like, and especially if you look at my Instagram, it's just like, here are these beautiful food pictures. Now,
Yeah.
it's funny that you bring that up, though. I did have a bad experience a couple of months ago at a restaurant. I mean, it was awful, and it's like we just got the Michelin rating here in Atlanta recently last year, and it's a Michelin rated restaurant I went to. We had a not so good experience. It was
What?
very expensive for two couples. We spent with tip $800,
Sure.
and I mean, you would expect, like, at that
Yes.
price
Yeah.
point, you expect everything to be perfect. And so I did the right thing. I wrote them. I said, here's my experience. Can you do anything? And they didn't really respond or offer to do much. So they were just like, you can come in again and pay. And I was like, no. So I probably am not going to still write a blog post, but I will find some review sites, and because I don't want people to spend their hard-earned money
No.
Right.
restaurant and have that bad experience. And that's, I'm thinking about the couple that saved up all year to go out for their anniversary or birthday
That's
dinner,
right.
like that. And I just don't want them to spend money and not have that great experience. So
Yeah.
I think what
There's
I
gotta
did
be
was,
a difference between like a mom and pop shop that maybe you go to and it's like,
There has
that
to be.
wasn't great. You know that someone's not gonna go and spend their savings there. It's just gonna end up being like not the best food. But I agree with you with something like that where people are going for anniversaries. It's like usually like a big deal, not just an
Mhm.
everyday meal. But I found that with Christina with O Town Fork. She's like, if I go experience something, I wouldn't leave a bad review because I don't want to. I want to chop it up to maybe a one-off, and then I don't want it to leave a review and then it negatively affect their business as a small business owner, unless it was like, she says she just won't feature it is how she handles it.
That's
Yeah.
interesting. And we were just at an RV conference maybe 4 weeks ago, maybe more. And someone brought this up. They would visit a campground and they were torn because they had a poor experience at the campground. How do I have integrity, have honesty, prevent some couple that's taking their family on vacation from blowing their vacation budget at a poor resort? And some of the conventions that some of the other influencers were talking about was kind of funny. Like, they'll do a product review and they'll get a product and they'll end up hating the product. So then they'll find something else. They'll go, well, the shipping was fast or the customer service was
Right.
good.
Right.
So they find some conventions to still write about the thing without,
Bad mouthing it basically.
bad mouthing
Yeah.
it. So have you found any conventions like that with food yet, or like not yet?
No, you can. Like, if let's say the service was really good, you can
Mhm.
you can talk about that. But it's gone to where it's more posting on Instagram anyway, and it's like everything is so quick, and you're not writing a lot like you are with a blog
Mhm.
post or an article. So that
Right.
makes it easier. But to your point about products and finding something good to write about, it's different if when it's a product and they've sent it to me and they're sort of expecting to write something. Sometimes it's just like you can't find something good to say about it. And also, if you're putting affiliate links in there, that's your reputation too. If you're telling
That's
somebody,
right.
go
Yeah.
buy this product because I used it, I liked it, and if you didn't, that's not a great thing. So if it's really bad, which is not often. If it's bad, I
No.
just wouldn't want to talk about it. And the
Yeah.
brand usually understands that because I'll write them and I'll say, here's why this is not something I want to mention.
Yeah.
And it's about having that relationship with them too. It's not a one-off. You have to think about your audience as having a relationship with them, but also the brand, the PR company. You want to have a good relationship with them too. So
Yes.
it's,
Absolutely.
you know,
Absolutely. So
all
tell us
good.
about the journey to 48,000. Did you have any particular runaway posts, or you've just been this incremental growth? Have you had any breakaway moments in your following?
Um, no, not so much. And I think going back, if I had to do it differently, I would have really tried to hone in on more of one thing, whether that is food or that is travel, because I see the brands that and the accounts that are very successful is they have this specific topic, but we're human beings and we like to post about different things. I like to write about cars and show the different cars that I'm reviewing. I
Mm,
like to talk about food. I like to talk about travel. So it's hard for me to just focus on one thing. And so if I had to do it again, maybe I would do that differently. So I didn't really have this aha moment or like this works. And I'm always trying new things. That's
mhm.
kind of interesting to me. Like, oh, do do hashtags do well? How many hashtags? Should I not put hashtags at all? Should I only do reels? Like reels have been good for me. So I've been
Yeah.
really focused. If you look at my Instagram account, it's
Mm-hmm.
it's almost all reels now. And it's great because then I can put it on other channels too.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
definitely.
Have you had anything that you think relative to you has gone viral?
No, I'm not, I wouldn't say viral. I've had a couple, I think it was like car posts that have gotten more of viewership than others. One was we did, uh, the Audi self-parking car, and we actually demoed that, and there was a lot of views
Oh.
for that one. That was interesting.
I think those subgroups are like those, it's not even a subgroup, but like people who are into cars are really into cars. And you can get a lot of momentum from that, or even a sport. You can post about a sport and the people are, feel strongly about those about those things, and they really jump on. It really increases engagement
Yeah.
with those. So yeah.
And I like your brand. You've got this pink going on for your highlights. Had you workshopped that, or that was just something you're like, this is just one of my favorite colors. I'm just going to create some continuity.
Yeah,
But have you
I really like the pink, and it's like, actually I was talking to the social media manager at Luxury Travel Hackers, and he's like, "Yeah, you may want to rethink that. You may you may want to change
really?
it." Yeah, so I thought it was good that they're similar. If you look at
Yeah.
the story highlights, those buttons are all similar. And I've looked
Mm.
at other content creators, and they just have like a main picture, and it's not
It doesn't look
differentiating. It's not
good.
like
Yeah.
uniform. And
Yeah.
so I just thought that looked good. But I think I'm going to try to rebrand some of that stuff and change out my stories. I'm not really good at doing the story highlights as I should be. I need to change that. So look for
Yeah.
that to be updated soon.
Well, and you have a clear logo and brand for the blog, Roamilicious. Is that the direction you're going to go, or is that going to also change?
Oh no, I don't see that changing, and I don't recommend that anybody try to change their blog name and get social media for it, because I did that. I started. I told you it was like date nights long ago when I started my blog, and it was just called Atlanta Restaurant Blog.
Mm.
And then I decided I wanted to do travel, and it was just
Mhm.
too hard to make that work. So I had to
Mm.
rebrand. And when I was trying to think of a name and where I could get the social media handles, like everything was taken, nothing was available. So I'm like,
Wow.
okay, well, I'll just make up a word. And that's kind of
That's
how I
what
got
I
to
did. It's easier to
Romalicious.
make up a word, yeah,
Well, yeah, what
and
is
it
it?
sounds good.
Invent a category of one instead of compete in the category of everyone.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
like that. Now,
yeah.
I notice that you have something that very few of the other creators we talk to have, and that is you have paid ads on your site. Um, what traction, like what traffic level do you have on your blog that makes sense for you? Like it makes an
Well,
income.
I think it would make sense for anybody who has any amount of traffic, right? Because it's like if you have any traffic, there's a chance somebody's going to click on an affiliate link. They're going to, you can even have Google ads on your site if you want. Now, the main ones are, I can't think of what they are now, but there's two ones. One of them, it used to be called AdThrive. It's something else now. And
Hmm.
there's another one that all the bloggers want. And that, I think you have to have like a minimum of 50,000 page views to even get into that ad network.
A month?
And so I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
And honestly, going back, I wish that I had focused more on my blog, but I was sort of trying to be this travel writer and doing my blog on the side. And so I wish I had focused 100% on my blog. If I
Mm.
had to do that over again, I would. And I think I would be at that level for advertising that I want already. But,
Yeah.
hindsight is 2020.
Oh yeah, man.
Well, looking at it, it looks
Yeah,
great.
the blog looks
Thank
And
you.
fantastic.
I think when people go, it gives you more opportunity for search, for Google search, if people can find multiple types of content. I
Hmm.
mean, you have health and beauty, you also have your food.
Hmm.
But I like the photography and how easy it is to see what type of articles you're writing at the top. I feel like
Yeah.
that's unique as well.
Yeah, the layout. So you don't know this, but I own a web design company and she owns an influencer company, and our companies are strategic partners. And so I obviously look at design. And what we have found on the influencer side is most influencers are platform dependent. And we're convincing them, build your own website, have your own platform, have content that stands alone because, the algorithm switches in a moment. Someone gets, a platform deplatforms you for whatever reason. It's not always inflammatory stuff. It's not always political. Sometimes someone just gets deplatformed. And
Is that a word?
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's a modern word for sure.
Writers over here trying to.
Yeah. So you obviously stand out with Roamilicious. And if you have you ever had trouble on any platform? Probably not topically.
Oh, you mean like at risk of being deplatformed or something?
Yeah.
No.
Community guidelines, probably not. Yeah.
One time or two times it happened where it's like Instagram will send me a notification about something and it's like I hadn't done anything. Like I hadn't posted in days, nothing changed. And so it's like if you dispute this, press this button or whatever, and I would press it and then I don't hear anything. But I've had other friends who they have their Instagram and they're so dependent on it, and then just Instagram removes it and there's no talking to anybody, like you're saying.
Right.
You just can't get it back. So
Yeah.
I think though that there's so many brands that are they're wanting influencers and they're wanting people on TikTok and Instagram. So even if you're like, well, I have this blog, they're like, no, we want this.
Yeah.
So it's tough. I mean, if it were up to me, I would probably spend a lot more time on my blog. But what I'm seeing with the brands is they want these little short videos that they can use. That's what people are watching right now.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. What's been the biggest challenge to your growth to date?
Well, like I said, I think if you're talking about like my blog is what I would look at, and that's just I didn't grow an email list when I could have or when I first started. And that is when it comes to my blog, that is probably my biggest regret.
Yes.
I started it a long time ago. And when I started it, it was like, you didn't have these free MailChimp, whatever. It was like,
Right.
oh, you have this email program. You can pay us $30 a month for it. And $30 a month doesn't sound like a lot of money, but when you're talking about hosting and you're talking about this and that,
It adds up quick.
it does add up. And I tried it for a while and I just wasn't getting the following that as quickly as I would have liked. And so I was like, is this worth $30 a month? Maybe not. But that's at a time when people were just so willing to give their email address for like nothing. Now it's like you have to give them so much just to get their email address. And so when it comes to my blog, that was a challenge to growth, is because if I had a huge email list, I could send a blog post out and it's like, you'd have all these people coming to your blog from that. So I wish I had done that.
And I'm sure you've heard, and I don't know if our audience knows, for every single email address you have, the rough marketing numbers are you should probably be earning about $1 per email address. Not that you're earning actually $1 from each person, but if you have 10,000 people, you should be able to remarket, retarget, launch a product in some way, shape, or form to earn about $1 per email on your email list. And you've been doing this long enough, with a long enough history, that you could easily have tens of thousands of people on your email list, getting, direct newsletters or something like that. And you're right. And the same with me. I've been keyed in on some of this since like 2004. And I just never got my act together. I never valued it to go, if people are going to follow, they're going to follow. And I had this moral high ground of the content and quality needs to be so high that they'll just come back, And, now these days I'm like, if only I had just been collecting emails.
I'm all about the opt-in.
Yeah.
Get as many emails as you possibly can and offer value and get them to sign up.
So what's the number one way you want people engaging with you? Is it Roamilicious.com or is it Instagram?
I like both. I mean, and I think that the people that engage with me on Instagram are probably a different set of people that might be looking at my blog and reading my blog. Not always. I think everybody has their super fans that really are interested in what they're doing. But yeah, I think I would say I'm a writer at heart. Yeah. And although I love the content creation side, I find that fascinating. I love writing, and I feel like more and more it's becoming a lost art. Yeah. And I really enjoy that. So if I had my choice, yes, I would love people to just want to read my blog posts and go on these trips that I have been on.
Okay, and they can download your free Atlanta guide if they sign up for your newsletter.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
There we go. Nice. So last question before we let you go. We're at the top of the hour. What's your next dream destination?
Oh, gosh, I think I want to go out somewhere, like somewhere in Asia because I just haven't spent enough time there. I was actually born in India, and we moved to the U.S. when I was adopted, and so I came here when I was a baby. But
You
yeah,
strike me as someone from Kerala. Are you from Kerala?
no, I was born in Mumbai.
Mumbai. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. And so I would encourage people to go to my website and look up the About Me story
Okay.
about how my parents got me to this country. I was deathly ill. They had to smuggle me on a plane. So that's
What?
like maybe a podcast for another episode podcast.
It
But
Yes.
is.
Wait,
Yeah,
why don't we open with this?
Yeah, we should have started there.
That should have been in your
I
bio.
didn't even think
Yeah,
about
I'm
it
a-
until just you were asking that question. But to answer your original question, yes, I would love to go to maybe like Thailand or Japan, somewhere that I can spend a good amount of time there, and just take some time off because I work a full-time job and I do content creation and blogging
Wow.
as well. And so I would love to just take some time and actually maybe not be doing content creation and just enjoying it.
Yeah, man. Well, I cannot thank you enough.
Yeah.
Stick around real quick. We'll wrap up the show. Everyone, please check out Roamilicious, whether it's on Instagram, but we just heard her passion's actually writing.
Yeah.
So check out roamilicious.com. Subscribe to her newsletter because she has put so much time and love, and you'll be salivating. And I think she does Monday Mules, if I'm correct.
I love a good Moscow Mule.
I'm telling you.
I'm ready.
Yeah, man, it's almost Moscow Mule time. Next week, check us out Tuesday, noon.
Yep.
Tuesday noon, is that what we're doing? Yeah.
That's the new time and day.
That's the new time.
It's still throwing us off. Like we're still getting used to this time.
Oh, yeah. So real quick,
Yeah.
what did you learn from Malika before we wrap up?
Man, she seems very confident, but I think that what resonated with me is that no matter how far you come, you still wish you would have done things differently. In
There's
some
that.
ways, you've learned from it, and then you can just put your best foot forward. But I think that's what's going to resonate with our audience most and connected with me.
What I loved is that a lot of the kind of the website thing I was talking about in a little bit.
Yeah.
A lot of writers and authors are true, what I would consider OG content creators. They started with the writer's mind. They started with the creator's mind. They got in the habit of creating content consistently, of seeing the world through their eyes and communicating that in some way, shape, or form, and then building the infrastructure of the website around that. And now she's making her way into socials, and now she looks way more established infrastructurally for growth
Agreed.
with collabs. And I mean, she's getting deals all the time. People are reaching out to her.
Yeah.
And so when we talk to our influencers, they're coming from the other direction. They've been living an adventuresome life.
Right.
And they're just now creating a bunch of short form content. Maybe the difference is short form versus long form. And they're going, how do I capture these brand deals? They don't have a codified brand. They don't have a codified voice. They don't have the online.
And they don't have a vault to pull from. Like all these blog articles can be a social media post.
Yeah.
So it's like even if you're having a slow week or slow day, you're like, hey, let me go back to increasing curb appeal with modern lightweight garage doors from overhead doors. But it doesn't matter.
It
Like,
doesn't
you can
matter.
pull from anything, and it's a post, and it's like you're right. You're starting from scratch when you decide to be a content creator, and you're like, what do I have to talk about? And then you get kind of stuck there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I learned. Thank you so much, Malika. Again, check her out at Roamilicious, and everyone will check you out next Tuesday. Have a great one.